and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and today we are doing a new releases reading vlog. So these are 3 books that came out in the month of May and I'm so excited. The 3 I'm going to be reading, I'm starting off with Overgrowth by Mira Grant. I love Mira Grant, also Shauna Maguire, same person, different pen name. Love their work so freaking much. And so when I saw they were coming out with a new book, it was automatically going on the list for this new releases video because I love Mira Grant. I don't know what this one is about, to be fair. I think we're following a girl who thinks she's an alien that ends up going into space. I think I could have that completely wrong. Either way, I know it's to do with aliens and I'm very intrigued and I think it's going to be amazing. So I'm reading this one on Kindle. However, if I like it, then I might treat myself to the Illumicrate special edition. So Illumicrate have not just their Illumicrate subscription, but they also have 3 monthly subscription to Sci-Fi and also a horror one. I recently tested out their horror one and I love it. I love the edition. I think it is amazing. Overgrowth is £22 in store, brand new. Illumicrate are doing it in their Sci-Fi box for May for £20. So I'm really tempted to just treat myself because I don't know what the special edition looks like, but I'm really tempted. So if I like this book, which I think I'm going to, then I may just treat myself to it. Now I would have just bought the special edition. However, they don't ship out until the end of the month, so I probably wouldn't have got hold of the special edition book until this video had to go live. So for that, I'm going to read it on Kindle and hopefully I love it and I can treat myself to that book because I'm honestly impressed at the fact that hardback books are costing me £22 full price and yet I can get a special edition with exclusive covers, printing onto the dust jacket, stenciled edges, like the whole shebang for £2 cheaper. Like, it makes no sense. Very excited. Fingers crossed I love this book. So this is the book I'm going to be starting off with and I'm probably going to start it tonight because I'm really excited and I am actually between books. So yes, very excited for this one. Then we have A Letter from the Lonesome Shore. Both this one and Overgrowth came out on the 6th of May and this is by Sylvie Catherall. I think this is the last book in a duology. I don't think they're continuing on past there. But this is book 2 in the Sunken Archive series and I loved the first book. So I'm very excited to be reading this second book. I think it is going to be wonderful. It's going to be such a good read and yeah, I'm really excited. This is also going to work for Rainy's series challenge. I'll have to double check. If this is finishing a series, I'm going to use it for that square. If it's not, pretty sure I can use it for another square on Rainy's board. So very excited. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Rainy's series challenge is a year-long reading challenge. I've been mentioning it in pretty much every single video. I've loved this challenge because it's really kept me accountable for continuing on with my series and Rainy is an amazing YouTuber, so I will have her linked below. Definitely go check her out. But yes, this will work for that, which I'm very excited about. And then lastly, I'm going to be reading Make Me Famous by Maud Ventura. This is translated from French by Gretchen Schmid, I want to say, and this one came out today actually, so I could start with this one, but I've been really in the mood for a sci-fi, so I'm going with Overgrowth. But Make Me Famous, so the reason why I was excited about this is because last year I read My Husband by the same author, fell in love with it, it made my top books of the year, and so when I saw they were coming out with a new book, I knew I wanted to read it. This is another one that I'm going to read on Kindle, and I'm just intrigued. This one is about someone that has become famous and they're reflecting on their life and the things that they did to become famous, and it's another story around obsession, and I like this author's writing, so I'm more than happy to give this one a try. I think this one's a short book. I'm also going on holiday, so part of this vlog is going to be filmed while I'm on holiday. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I'm looking forward to all of these reads. I think if I was going to do what I think is going to be in top spot, I don't know, I have a feeling Overgrowth is going to be in position 1, A Letter from the Lonesome Shore, and then I think Make Me Famous. I don't know why. I'm just keeping my reservations about Make Me Famous. I think I should absolutely love it, but there's just something that I'm like, maybe we should have a little bit of reservation for this one just in case it doesn't pan out the way I think it will. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what star ratings I give these books. Does the ranking at the end of the video change from this? Like, I love it. I've been enjoying these. I love reading new releases. I love keeping up with what's coming out and I am loving the freedom to not box myself into just cozy books. Still managing to have at least one a month so far, but having the freedom to try out loads of other things, it has been so good and I've really enjoyed it. So anyway, tangent aside, I hope you're all doing really well. Let me know if you're interested in reading any of these and let's get into Overgrowth. I want to talk about the fact that the B-roll before this was Lego. This is my very first Lego set, so I've helped my brother put together Lego sets and stuff before that he's had, but this is my very first one, and it's this cute little bookshelf, if it will focus. Like, it is so cute. I am really happy with this. This was actually a gift from my lovely friend and colleague at work for my birthday, and I'm just, oh, I love it so much. So this is gonna have pride of place up here. I am so happy with it. Honestly, I kind of get the hype because like when I've done Lego sets in the past for my brother, like it's helping my brother, but actually just having on a video in the background and just chilling out, putting this together, it was very nice, very relaxing. So that was really good. But Overgrowth. So I have read the first, where am I up to actually? Okay, so I'm up to page 104 and I think we're on day 4. This is another book where it's broken down into days, and then inside each day is another little like sub chapters, and those chapters are like really short. So I think I'm on day 4, chapter 3, something like that. This one is done all in first person. Yeah, things are a little bit weird, but I absolutely love it. So the writing in this is automatically something I really love. I really like Mira Grant's writing. I definitely want to be getting a physical copy of this book. I've just got to decide, do I treat myself to the special edition or do I be smart and just wait for this one to come out in paperback? I'm not sure, because I do love the normal cover of this anyway. This one, we're following Anastasia. Now actually, let me start right at the start. We get like this little prologue bit. Prologue, it talks about how this is a story. It's not going to hurt you, but I need to give you some context. And it's like a narrator talking directly to us. I don't think it's Anastasia. The narrator details the very start of what's happening. And I'm not going to go into more detail than that because I really liked it. Like that prologue, I was like, oh yes, this book is for me. I definitely want a copy. Absolutely loving it. Then we go into day 1, and each day is counting down the days until invasion. Because this book is an alien book. We are following Anastasia, who is an alien, and that's what she tells people. Like, she can't help it, it's a compulsion. She has to tell people when she first meets them, hi, I'm Anastasia, I'm an alien, I am part of the Vanguard, and we're going to invade this planet. Obviously people find it really weird. At first teachers were like, oh, she has such an imagination and all of this stuff, and then it kept going and going and going, and now she gets 2 different reactions. Either people just really kind of freak out and just like bully her and just treat her really poorly, or they're just like, yeah, if you're not hurting anyone, what does it matter if that's what you believe? And the plant species that's going to be invading, they are like these weird flowers and things. I actually think it's very similar to the cover of this book, so I really like that. And we're dealing with Anastasia feeling really disconnected from everything because obviously she's from an alien planet. She doesn't feel like she's got a connection there because she's been on Earth for over 30 years now, and she doesn't feel fully connected to Earth and humans because she's just wearing a human skin, and she doesn't feel fully comfortable within this human skin. Like, she knows it's not her real skin, and yet, you know, she just can't quite connect to things. So that's really interesting to see and to read about, just having that disconnect, feeling like you don't really belong anywhere. I think that's being really well explored. As a character in general, I just like Anastasia. I like her as a person, just like different beliefs. The fact that she thinks cats are so much better than people, hands down agree. But I really like her as a character. We also have transgender representation in here, and it's just, I mean, it's a book by Mira Grant. There's always so much wonderful representation within their book, so I really appreciate that. But right now, where I've just left it, we've had contact with the aliens. They've sent this transmission, and people are freaking out all over the place because they're like, oh my god, aliens are real, we're not actually alone in the universe, and all of this stuff. Anastasia's housemates, they've sat her down and gone, wait, you were telling us the truth? Like the actual truth? You're actually an alien? Like, you knew this was going to be happening? And Anastasia's like, well, yeah, I've been telling you for ages, like, it was your choice whether you believe me or not. And now they're both freaking out, and they're both freaking out in very different ways, but I think both of them are very believable and relatable. And now trying to well, first of all, like, contact the person who found this transmission, because it's really weird. This book is done in a way where it's like, it could be a hoax. It could be a case of a few books that I have read where it's trauma that's causing Anastasia to believe that she is an alien and to disassociate. It's what all of her therapists are always telling her, but they're gonna try and find the person that found this transmission to actually work it out. And Anastasia's really kind of going between, like, it's proven, I have proof that this is where I'm from, I've always known it, but she's also never fully been, like, it's kind of a weird, she struggles to explain it, so I'm struggling to explain it, but it's like she's always known that she is an alien. However, she doesn't really know the full process. She knows that something happened, but she can't remember all of it. It's a bit of an unusual one, so when they're now having this transmission be heard, she's like, yes, they're saying hello, they're saying they're going to invade, they're giving warning and everything that that's what's going to happen. Yet there's that part of her that's still going, wow, this is all actually true. She feels like there is a possibility of her feeling so, yes, I was right. However, she's also like, how do I feel about this? Because I've lived on Earth for over 30 years. You know, I've got friends, I've got my cat, I've got people I care about. Do I really want this world decimated? It's a weird one that she's like, I don't know. And she's like, and what if it is a hoax? What if everything the therapists have said is actually true? Like, and this is the thing. So she's in a crisis of, I don't know what one I want to be real right now, because if it turns out it's a hoax, that means the people I care about are safe, but then that means that what does that mean for me? And it's a really interesting one to see all of that conflict within her. I'm really curious to see how this book is going to expand from there. Like, I really like it. I really like Mira Grant as an author, and I just think it's working really well. So that's where I'm up to. It is a bit of an awkward one to talk about because, like I say, Anastasia can't really explain any of it properly either, because she just doesn't know how to talk about it. She doesn't know all the ins and outs. So it's interesting to see that and then try and work out, yeah, what's going on and all of this. So I'm excited to read more. I'm thinking this one is definitely going to lean more into the actual alien invasion side of things rather than more of the questioning of what if it's all just disassociation for something that happened in her past. I definitely think this one is going to be leaning more into the actual alien side of things, which I'm really excited about, because I've read quite a few books where we've had people being disassociated because of things happening in their past, like Earthlings, The Cat Bride as well, and you know, both books, and I've read others prior to that, but those are the two recent ones, but both books, they really highlight, they kind of straddle that line of what is true and what isn't, and gives just enough for both sides, where I feel like Mira Grant's going to fall more heavily onto no it's actually aliens side of things, which I'm really excited about. I'm really curious to see how it's all going to go. I think aliens themselves, the plants, the way they've been described and things, I really like. I think it's really cool, and like I want to say the world, but like it's something that Anastasia's only ever seen through dreams. It sounds beautiful and horrifying all at the same time. So yeah, I'm really excited just to learn more and to see where this is all gonna go. Like, the reason why it's definitely more sci-fi is because at the start of each chapter you are having countdown to the invasion. So it definitely is likely to happen. I think maybe that's what we're all building up to in this book. I also like that at the start of, I'm not sure if it's every chapter, but we've been getting little snippets from different books and things. That's a very similar setup to what happened in Into the Drowning Deep. Some are quotes, like we've got H.G. Wells that have been quoted, and then others, I think I'm not sure whether it is actual books and stuff, like I should have done my research on that, or whether it's made up within this world, kind of like how Into the Drowning Deep did it. But again, I really like that. There's just certain things that I've just associate with Mira Grant's writing that I just think is done really well. So looking forward to continuing on. But right now, as usual, I've got quite a few bits to do, so I will just pop back in when I've read some more and we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm really pleased that I'm reading this book. Like, I had high hopes for this book, as we already know. Really is just living up to the expectations that I had, and it's so satisfying when a book does that. But yeah. just over halfway through this book. I'm on page around 261 in the middle. I think I'm towards the end of chapter 10 at this point, but I'm in the middle of a chapter because that's just where I happen to stop. And I'm really liking this book. I think it's really well done. It's a little bit slow paced. So we're following Anastasia and things are developing. So I can't go into the plot line, but it's so interesting. The reason why I'm doing this update now is because by the time I next see you, I'm going to be in Thailand and I don't have time to film an update straight away after I finish this book, because I'm hoping, I don't know actually, I was hoping to finish this book today. That was the time frame I gave myself, is for my late shifts while I'm at work, this would be my at work book that I pick up and read, get it all finished during then. But I think I've got about 200 pages left to go, so I don't think I'm going to get it finished in time, which means I'm going to be reading it probably on the flight to Thailand, because I'm flying out tomorrow. So I'm working till midnight today and then I fly out tomorrow at around 2 o'clock-ish. That's probably what I'm going to be reading with all the traveling and stuff. And then I thought I did want to do a little update before I finish out the book, because it's a chunkier book. Basically, I'm just doing a random little update, which is, now that I'm thinking about it, probably isn't the best idea because I don't have loads I can talk about in this book, but I am really liking it. I'm loving the development of the plotline of this book. Like I say, it is actually quite slow moving. I feel like it's got a similar pace to Into the Drowning Deep, except instead of Into the Drowning Deep where we had multiple different perspectives, we only get Anastasia's perspective. I do like, because we're really connecting to Anastasia, and I really like how she's really questioning where does she stand on this line of conflict. Like, it's her species that are now invading, that are coming to the planet, and they are this, it keeps mentioning Little Shop of Horrors, or Little Shop of Terrors, or whatever. I haven't read it or seen it or anything, but it's about apparently plants that are like evil, and yeah, it's basically like that. So we've got this evil plant species that are coming to Earth to kind of like annihilate, wipe them all out and everything, harvest them is the words that's used. She's very conflicted because she's like, okay, so innately, yes, I agree with what's happening because they are my species. However, I have been on Earth for the last 30 plus years and I care about these people, not the world in general. She doesn't agree with humankind in general because she's like, you literally annihilated your own planet, but the people that she considers as her people, her boyfriend, her friends, you know, her cat, those are the things she really cares about. And she's like, I don't want these people to be hurt in this, and yet I know that is really a high likelihood. How do I stop my species coming in and hurting the people I care about? And so she's really in this difficult situation where you see the inner conflict that she's having of where do I go, and seeing some of the developments, like where I left it. Oh, that was a really fun development, which again, if you've seen or read or whatever it is with the Little Shop of Terrors, Horrors, then you already know what's going to happen. I didn't, so that was a nice little surprise for me, so I really liked that. And I'm just really enjoying this. Like, I love the idea we've got alien plants coming in. It's making me think that I need to finish listening to The Day of the Triffids. That's a ebook, it's an audiobook that I started listening to because of Danny and Leandra. They've got this podcast YouTube thing that they do together where they go not reading for content, and they have a book that they read and discuss, and every week it's like a little update of where they are in the book. And one of the books I read for that was Day of the Triffids, and so I got the audiobook to listen alongside it. And actually there's something else I realised. So I'm going loads of tangents, I'm so sorry, it's a bit chaotic here, but audiobooks, so I really want to try them for rereads and also classics. I think classics would be so good as an audiobook. I think I will get back into my classics, because Gothic classics I can read hands down. I love those things. Other classics I'm just kind of struggling with a little bit. I feel like Day of the Triffids is a nice little mix because it's like a sci-fi horror. So I feel like that's a nice little mix, but also, you know, it had it as an audiobook and I started listening and I was really interested, and I haven't stopped thinking about that little bit that I listened to. So I definitely think I would like to do that at some point and do maybe like an audiobook week where I just listen and try and find what audiobooks work for me. So that would be really good. But Anyway, that was a weird little tangent. So yeah, Day of the Triffids, like again, that's like alien plants and things. Like I love the whole concept of it. And this with Mira Grant's writing, like I'm really, really loving this book. Like I am really tempted to get that Starlight edition from Illumicrate and just do that. But also I own Into the Drowning Deep as a paperback, so getting the paperback of Overgrowth when it eventually comes out would work for that. I am a big person that likes things to match, so I don't know. I'll have to see when people start getting their books what it looks like, because if it looks gorgeous I may have to get it, because I am really liking this book. So star rating wise, being halfway through this book, I'm going to say easy 4.25. Really enjoying this one. I think I prefer Into the Drowning Deep that little bit more, but I do like this. I like the narrative style. I like it that it's in first person. I like that we're following Anastasia. I like that we are seeing this constant conflict and we're seeing the bad side of humanity as well. And the way they're like, there was this line, I've been highlighting things in my Kindle, except I left my Kindle at work, so I can't like check it. And it's on my phone, but I find that a bit more awkward. I'm making excuses, basically. I'm being lazy. But basically, there was this little quote that was how humans can justify horrific things by saying how it's about bettering them. So something that is going to be improving society or protecting society, and they can get away with horrific things that would not normally be allowed because of this little label. And also it then calls into a lot of questions of Anastasia as well, like what rights does she have? Because there's a lot of questions going around, well, I've been here for 30 years, I have my human body, but at the same time they're like, well, bears don't have rights, so you don't have rights. You know, you're not a human, so therefore you have no rights, and they are abusing that. And so it does get dark in places. There was also a really horrible moment. So Anastasia's boyfriend is Graham, and he's trans. But there was this whole horrible moment where there's a situation that Anastasia's in, and they say to Anastasia, oh, your girlfriend, and all of this. And Anastasia has a moment of like, wait, what are you talking? And then she realizes that they are deliberately misgendering Graham, and she flips out. She is furious because she's like, no, how dare you? He is human. If you're saying that you're getting away with treating me like this because I'm not human, what excuse do you have for treating Graham like that? And the things that they were threatening to do, like withholding hormonal treatment and stuff, like, that was horrible to read. And I loved that Anastasia did get so angry about it. And that's another thing that has been talked about quite a lot in this book, is people not accepting you for you. And so Graham's always known that he is a guy, but how his parents refuse to acknowledge it and things like that. So just go into it being aware that this is a conversation that happens. It also comes up quite a bit because of Anastasia herself always knowing that she's an alien, and how people aren't really willing to accept it, or they'll always think that she's lying or things like this. And it's just that whole concept of people just accepting you for you and then bringing transgender into it and stuff. And I just think these are some really good conversations to be having, so I'm really enjoying those bits. And then the whole science side of things, the plant invasion side, like I'm really enjoying it. But also it's kind of fun because it's not too science heavy. So I found Into the Drowning Deep was actually more science heavy, and this one it isn't, because Anastasia doesn't understand it. And so because we're following Anastasia, she's just like, I can't give you answers because I don't know myself. Like, I've got no idea. It's not like I've been in contact with my people since I've been here. I have been sent here, yes, but I don't have any information to give you because I have no information myself. And so that's a really interesting thing as well. So we're actually learning things as Anastasia's finding out things. So I like that as well. So this whole book is done really well. I do think it could definitely get up to like a 4.5. I don't think it's going to hit a 5-star from me. I mean, it could, depending on how it all ends. You know, I'm really happy with that 4.25 to 4.5 range, and I'm really liking it. I'm enjoying the writing, I'm enjoying the character we're following, I like the difficulties that she's facing, like I love all of it. I think it is so well done. So yeah, I think it's a really good book. But that's the update. The next time I see you will probably in Thailand, and I'm not going to put too much Thailand content in this, so you might have like little snippets here and there, but it's not going to be loads. Plan is to finish Overgrowth, so I'll do an update for that, and then potentially also read Make Me Famous while I'm out there, because again, that's an ebook and I'm going to take my Kindle, but I'm not going to take A Letter to the Lonesome Shore. So this is the book I'm going to read when I get back home after the holiday. So that's the plan. Now, as you would have saw, I did do a little bit of book shopping. I had points to use up, so I used it to get the next Agatha Christie book I need to be reading, which is The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side. And this is, I don't know what book this is in the Miss Marple series. Okay, this is book 9 in the Miss Marple. And then I also have Nemesis, which is book 12, which was gifted to me for my birthday by Heidi, which was absolutely lovely. So yeah, so I picked up this one because I might end up doing this one soon. Been kind of doing these as like Patreon exclusives where we have like a little video where I try and solve the whole thing. And it's been a lot of fun. So this is going to be as an option to vote on for the exclusive video in July. And they tend to do really well on the voting. So I got it just in case. I mean, I had the £10. It made sense to get it in preparation. And yeah, ignore the broken nail. Like, it was a whole thing. I've been doing loads of cleaning and tidying. So like today I did sort out my plants. As you saw, they're in the bath. Well, not now, but they had a nice little bath with some plant food and just let them soak as much water up as they want. So that's all then prepared. It wasn't even all of my plants. There's a few plants that can't fit in the bath. So those I had to just water separately. But yeah, so I've been doing all that, doing loads of cleaning and stuff, and I was a little bit too aggressive with the cleaning and broken nail, but it's fine. I'm getting my nails done when I go on holiday, so I don't actually care. But yeah, anyway, so I think that's everything. The book is going great. We know the read on plans, and I will see you in Thailand. Got a few different reading updates for you. I finished Overgrowth. I actually finished that on the flight. We're currently in Thailand, and this one was a little bit disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a few days since I finished the book because I decided that I would finish the book and then start Make Me Famous before I did an update for this video. And yeah, the thing is with Overgrowth is it has been a few days and it's been pretty forgettable. I think my star rating, I kind of want to give it like a 3.5. I need to double check what I put on Storygraph because I know I did a rating straight away as soon as I finished. But honestly, because I haven't really been thinking about it that much, apart from to think, oh, that was a bit disappointing, I think I'm just going to leave it as a 3.5. I said I was really enjoying this book, and I was, except the second half of the book, the pacing was really, really slow. It just didn't really do anything. I feel like this book could have got really interesting if we had done that start-up bit where we were looking at that feeling of not feeling like you belong, to then go from that and go into more of the alien stuff and have that be more of a focus. But instead it was kind of like rushed at the end, where we got a lot of information about the aliens, about how this plant species work, their society and things, and it just feels like we didn't actually get, I mean, that last little chunk of the book could have been expanded and been made longer into that rest of the half of the book, rather than leaving it at this little bit. So it felt like 3/4 of the book was build up, very slow, to then have a very small section about the aliens themselves and what was going on with this invasion and things. And I feel like as a result, that end bit was really rushed, and then it felt like very much a copy and paste moment of the first half of the book for another 150 pages. And I'm like, but you could have cut that out and given us more on these plant alien species and seeing how it all works and things. It was very fascinating. Like, the concept was really interesting, so I liked it, but it just didn't do what it could do. And it's like, I already mentioned in this video, like, I've read a lot of Mira Grant's work and I know they're capable of doing it better than they did this. And I feel like they just kind of got stuck on this idea, and so they kind of dragged it out and then realized, oh, we've got to finish this book, I need all these things to happen, and just threw it all in at the end, and it just didn't seem to work. So I feel like it was a pacing issue. I feel like we needed someone to go in and be like, right, okay, this doesn't work, this little section, great, make it longer, then like gel it all together. I don't know, I feel like some people are really gonna like this book, but for me it just felt like the pacing was a bit all over the place. Unless of course what they were going for was different with this book and it's not what I wanted, which is fine, like that's absolutely fine. Like, for me, I feel like their pacing has been better in other books, is a better way of saying that, rather than being like, you can do better, because that just feels horrible to say. It was a pacing issue. Like, the writing was great, I really enjoyed the writing. I did like the characters. I do think our main character got a little bit like woe is me sort of attitude, which, you know what, I just want to say here, actually very relatable, in the sense that if you're bothered over something, it is very natural to focus in on that and have everything always come back to that until you feel you have a resolution. So it's very natural, but reading that makes it very boring and repetitive. So as much as I can go, yes, that is very much how we would act, I don't think as a book it works well. I think we need to make the point and then move on from it and have other things happening, and so kind of make that into the background and make the aliens the forefront. And instead it felt like the plant alien invasion was at the background for the majority of this book, which is a shame because I feel like it shouldn't have been. I feel once they had landed, there should have been, from that point on, so much more focus on the plant alien. And even then, that kind of them landing could have happened like a few chapters earlier, I feel like, to keep up with the pacing of this. Like, having a nice slow burn start to then increase the pacing for the second half would have been better, but it just felt like we would get some random interesting moments and then stop. And I do think the best half of this book was the first half. I liked the very ending of this book, like the way it was done, the very start and the very ending, like the prologue and epilogue almost. Amazing. 10 out of 10. If it had been like that style the whole way through, I would have loved this book so freaking much. As it was, like I say, there was just moments where it just dragged and it just felt like we were stuck on the same thing, just going around in a circle in the same direction and not moving anywhere with it. Yeah, 3.5. I'm not going to bother with the special edition of this book. Like, as much as I would love it, I don't feel the need to own it, and you know what, eventually maybe I'll get it for my shelves, but I think I'm much rather happier with Into the Drowning Deep, the Wayward Children series, like all of that, than Overgrowth. Like, I don't if I'm going to reread a book by this author, it wouldn't be Overgrowth, I don't think. Bit of a shame, bit of a letdown, not expected at all, but is what it is. But I have started Make Me Famous, and honestly I've only got a tidy bit of the way through this book. Make Me Famous, I'm up to page 17. It says I'm 13% of the way through the book, but I thought I would give like a very initial thoughts, feelings about the book and everything. So this one is by Maud Ventura, translated by Gretchen Schmid, and yeah, I'm liking it so far. So I'm on chapter 4, in the middle of chapter 4, because I was reading this while I got my nails done. So yeah, I'm liking it. You know, the writing style immediately, I like it's the writing style I expect, so I'm liking that. And we've also got this kind of setting the scene that we're following this character who is so obsessed with being famous, how that started at a very young age and how she has done things to keep that fame that we know are not going to be good. And has that all been explained yet? No, but I do love a lot of the commentary that's been set up in this book about memory, about how memories are fragile, how you can recreate memories, create fake memories, but make it so that you end up believing these stories and that you actually lose the reality of what actually happened. And I love that. I love how that's really been focused on for this first bit. So it's kind of already set in stone. You can't trust this narrator. She's going to tell you all the things, like we're meant to be getting an unabridged version of how she became famous and all the sacrifices she's made and things like this, but it's already making it so that we don't know if we can trust her as a character character. So I'm really enjoying that. Just on that initial impressions, I'm really enjoying this. I think it's going to be really good. Like, it's just going to match the expectations that I had for this book. I'm going to continue reading this while I'm on holiday. I will probably update you when I finish it. It's not a very long book. Let me double check actually. I mean, I guess if anything happened that I'm like, oh my god, I must tell you exactly what happened, then I definitely will. But it says I've got 6 hours reading time in the book. So I'm not sure. It's not showing me how many pages. It's doing the weird. We're gonna leave it. Okay, I'm 13% of the way through the book. I will give you an update probably when I finished it, although if anything really interesting and dramatic happens, I will update you before then about my reactions to it all and stuff. But initial impressions is doing what I wanted it to. It's doing what I expected from this book. I mean, it's adding things that personally I wouldn't normally gravitate toward. If you've got a book that's about singers and rock stars and pop stars and all of this sort of stuff, that's not me. That's an automatic turn off for me. I like this author, so I feel like if anyone's going to get me to like it, it's probably going to be them. And we have had some like name dropping of like Taylor Swift and things like this. We'll just see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I continue to enjoy this book, but first impression, I like the setup. I like the fact that we have this very self-centered person that is going to make some very questionable decisions and we cannot trust them. I'm very intrigued to see what crazy shenanigans they get up to. So yeah, really liking that. Bit disappointed about Overgrowth, but yeah, hopefully we can only go up from here. Back home, and honestly I forgot to charge my camera battery. My memory card is messing around, so we're just gonna see how much I can actually say in this update before everything just crashes. Yes, I'm back home. I had an amazing holiday and I did finish reading Make Me Famous. Honestly, this was a bit of a letdown. I ended up settling on a 2.75 rating and I wanted more from it. So this is for me a very mid book, and the result of it being mid, I don't really know what to say about it because I feel like actually the intro bit I did for this book kind of covers it. Like, we are just focusing on our character Cleo, her journey to becoming famous. She's at this like abandoned island thing and she's got 3 weeks there. She's reflecting on how she became famous, the different things that she did. She's not a likable character. She's a complete narcissist. She makes choices that are just wrong and horrible, but the book didn't go as far as I wanted. Like, I'm okay with following a unlikable main character. That doesn't bother me. She didn't really go far with it. I feel like My Husband, things went further. The obsession, the things that were happening, like, I don't know, there was just something about it that had a magic to it that was just missing in this book, unfortunately. Now, partly some of that could just be because we're talking about someone becoming famous and it's like lots of like name dropping of different celebrities and it's all about fame and how the pressure is, all of that. And to be honest, it's just not my kind of thing, especially like music, pop stars, that sort of thing. Like, it's just not my sort of scene. So I feel like maybe if you had an interest in that, it would be more interesting because of it, to see those sort of things. For me, like, the interest wasn't there for that. I was there for the obsession, to see how far this was gonna go because I liked My Husband. Does this mean I'm never gonna read another book by Mortal Ventura? Definitely not. Like, I can't wait to see what gets translated next for me to be able to read. It's just, it didn't quite work for me, and where it did go was predictable. I saw it coming. I wasn't surprised, although I will say the very, very end of the book, yes, that was surprising. Yes, I like that. I think that was well done. I feel like I should have expected it, but I didn't. Although it does, I don't want to say that actually because it's a bit spoilery, so I can't say what I was about to say, but it's a good book. it's just not one for me, because again, I was just wanting more. I was really just waiting and waiting for it to go further, to do more, and it just didn't. Like, there was so much of the book just following this character being horrible to people, saying horrible things, thinking horrible things, then justifying what she was thinking by going, well, I deserve to be this, I deserve to be all of that. Why can't people just do the bare minimum, when actually what she's asking for is extortionate and is not the bare minimum? I don't know, it wasn't my favourite, and again, partly because of it being around pop stars and the music industry and things like that, and that's just not something I have any interest in. Even if this was put into a different job rather than being about music, or like just a different industry, I still think I would have struggled with this one a little bit, because I was just waiting for that bit more. I just think My Husband had a spark, just something to it. Like, it's a slow book, it took time, but I really got invested and I couldn't turn away. Whereas with this book, I was just finding that I just wasn't invested. Like, I could put it down and not go back to it. The only reason why I didn't is because I wanted to finish it for this video, and also already on holiday I'd already DNF'd a book. I didn't really want to DNF another one, and again, like with My Husband, like, there was a moment where it was very slow and then everything picked up, and then by the end I was like, wow, this is amazing, it's going to stay with me. As I was kind of hoping for that towards the end, except we got to the end, and like I say, that last bit, yeah, good, I liked it, but still not enough to make me want to go back and reread the whole book. Yeah, 2.75 unfortunately. And the final book for this video, as we know, is A Letter from the Lonesome Shore, and I started this yesterday, didn't get as far into it as I wanted to. I really am hoping to try and finish this book up in the next 3 days, so that I've got plenty of time to get this edited, ready for early access on Patreon, because like the last couple of videos on Patreon haven't had as much early access as I normally like to give. Like, normally I like to give like 3 or 4 day early access, but I couldn't really achieve that fully with the other ones because of me being on holiday. So I would like to do that. Fingers crossed we'll get it done in time. But anyway, this, I'm up to chapter 4, page 53, and this is a continuation of a series that I really enjoyed. So I actually read this first book back in one of the early episodes for Reading Cozy New Releases, which was like the first version of these videos, and I loved it. And that one was A Letter to the Luminous Deep. So beautiful. Like, this is all done in epistolary format. It's kind of like, if you like Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, I think you would really like this, although it's a lot more slow burn. It's so beautiful though. Oh my gosh, I always do this with books that I really like, is I just talk about how amazing and wonderful they are, and then don't actually describe what it's about. So we're gonna try. But in the first book, at the start of the book, we have these two characters, Henry and E, who have gone missing, presumed dead. And we have their siblings, so E's sister Sophie and Henry's brother Verin, exchanging letters to one another to talk about the fact that, you know, their siblings, they're gone. They started to connect over this event that happened, becoming friends, and they start exchanging the letters that Henry and E sent to one another. Through those letters, you are seeing this story unfold of this beautiful love story, but it is so slow. Like, so slow burn, nothing happens, they barely touch hands in the first book, uncovering these two characters. Now, the world that it's set in is everything's pretty much underwater. There is only a tiny bit of the world left that has land, and E lives underwater. And Henry is a scholar looking at different creatures within the ocean. And E discovers a creature that she's never seen before, and she's always been an admirer of Henry's work, so she actually sends him a letter sparking off this series of events and this love story. Now, E is someone that suffers from agoraphobia, she's got loads of anxiety, she deals with panic attack, and I just feel like it's done so well. Like, I really love E as a character, and Henry is just the most adorable cinnamon bun you've ever met. Like, I love these characters so freaking much. But everything happens in the book. Like, you've got Sophie and Verin swapping these letters, learning about their siblings' lives and that story that they were having, because at the time Sophie was part of a dive expedition to a different part, and like everyone was doing their own thing, and now they're connecting and finding out what was actually going on during this time. You also do get snippets of the dive that Sophie's a part of, and it all just kind of comes together. Like, it's slow. It is not a fast-paced book. It is a book to take your time with, but I think it's so well done, and I really like the writing in this. Like, it was a really good first book, really enjoyed it, and this is the last book in the duology, and honestly, coming back to this book has been perfect. Like, it's been exactly what I wanted, because I'm not gonna lie, I've had 3 books in a row that have been between 2 and 3 stars, and it's been kind of sucky. It got broken up by one book, which was Jurassic Park. It's been quite a low month. Well, I say a low 2 weeks of reading where things just have been disappointing or not quite holding up how I want them to be. And so then going into this writing and it just being like, yes, this is what I want. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not perfect. This, like, there are moments where I can go, okay, some of that conversation seemed a little bit, I don't know, not quite real and fleshed out, I guess, but like that was only one time that I can go, I feel that way. I just love it. Like, when I started this book, it opens up with Sophie writing this missive, and you're getting Sophie and Varen like kind of making little comments. It's almost as if they're telling us a story and then they're interrupting each other while telling you this story, and it's so much fun. Still done in epistolary format. You've got journals, you've got letters, you've also now got electronic messages, because a bit of time has passed between the first and second book now, and that's been a development that's happened. But yeah, it's so well done. Like, I really love the writing. It's kind of like almost like Victorian sensibilities, the writing, and just these 2 really lovely characters, with then Sophie and Varen trying to find out what actually happened to their siblings, and it's so interesting. Like, I really like it. So I can't talk to you about what's happening in this book at all, because it's going to give away spoilers for the end of the first book, but I will say the pacing has gone a bit slower again. So like the start of the book, like start of the first book, like that sort of slower paced story. But I don't mind that. Like, I'm enjoying just taking my time. I'm enjoying just the writing of it all, and just being back with these characters and slowly discovering what they have found. And yeah, it's just really good. And I think there are some little points every so often of like little bits of intrigue, and some bits have been funny, and it's just, I just really like it. Did I actually explain much? Probably not. That was probably terrible. I do apologise, but just know that if you like Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, if you're happy with a very slow-paced, comforting book that's academic focused, based on water though, like sea life, ocean life, then yeah, give it a try. Genuinely give it a try. It's like Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, but make it for oceanic creatures, and having not just one perspective, but multiple different perspectives, but a very slow burn story. Then I think you would get what this is. This is just like really cutesy and just heartwarming and lovely, and I really like it. But it's not going to be for everyone. Like, this is not a book I can recommend to everyone. I can recommend it to those that love those really cozy, heartwarming stories. Light academia. Yes. Anyway, I've repeated myself loads. I'm hoping some of that made sense. Maybe I can edit it down so it actually makes sense. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna go. I actually have a video I need to edit, but I'm feeling quite tired, as you can tell from the fact that I made no sense in anything I said. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just edit for like half hour or so and do like half the video and then finish it tomorrow. Like, ideally I wanted to finish it all today and get up for early access tomorrow morning, but anyway, right, I said I was gonna go and I've continued rambling on about nothing, so I am actually gonna go. I don't know when I'm gonna update again. Because I can't talk about the plot in this book, I don't know whether just to finish this book and come to you when I finished it and give you my overall like feelings on the book and the star rating, or whether to update you halfway. I think it depends on how I feel about this, like what happens. If there are things that I can talk about that aren't spoilers, then I will probably do that. Otherwise, I will just see you when I finish this book, because it's always a difficult one with sequels, and I think that's why I've got so bad at continuing sequels lately. I struggle to talk about them without spoiling it, like spoiling the first book. Like, that's not what you want to do. And at the same time, having a whole video that's literally just going, oh well, I can't tell you about this, but I like the vibe, I feel like isn't amazing. So definitely that's kind of like why I've stopped reading so many sequels. Like, I used to be a person that would start a series and finish the series before moving on to to a different one. And obviously that's not happened for years with me doing YouTube. So yeah, I think I just need to work out how I want to do it. Maybe if I want to focus on a series, like try and do it in one video. But then at the same time, like with instances like this, I've read the first book and I really loved it, and it's been a year, so well, almost a year. Has it really been that long? Maybe. For the second book to come out, so then obviously I want to read it. So then how do I talk, like how do I make that into one whole video? Like I don't think I could. I don't know, I need to work on it. I need to work out how I want to do that, because I need to start reading more series. And I've been enjoying my weekly reading vlogs where they're not technically weeks, they're like a few days here and there. And anyway, I've still been rambling loads. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm tired. I have finished A Letter from the Lonesome Shore, and there is one quote that kind of sums up this book hilariously well, so I'm just going to read it out to you. It's right by the end. It's kind of out of context though, so it's fine. They're talking about basically everything we've just read, what it actually is, and it says, he summarised a fairly dull tale that mostly involved people reading letters and then discussing their feelings about said letters. I do not need to repeat it here. It's kind of true, because that is all you've read. You have read a tale of people exchanging letters, reading said letters, and discussing the letters, and, you know, seeing how they feel about everything. And that sounds kind of boring, but I just love it. Like, it's just so nice and wholesome. And, you know, this is not the most exciting tale ever. It's not got loads of stakes and things like that. Instead, it's just a slow build, but there's something about it that I just really appreciate and really like. And I think it is because I like the writing that's in it. Like, I like their declarations of love. I like the way they talk about things, and it does kind of remind me a little bit like a classic book. I've just started another video and I'm actually reading a classic book, so I can say that quite easily, having that very recent comparison. And I don't want to say that to put it off, because I know sometimes people hear classic books and then get really put off because they think the language is too old, it's too difficult to understand and things, but it's not like that. It's almost like a Jane Austen with the declarations of love, and Jane Austen's very readable. Like, if you are wanting to try classics, then Jane Austen is a good one, especially if you like the romance and the drama and things. Different places to start in classics depending on the sort of reading that you prefer. So like, obviously if you like horror books, there are horror classics to try, and sci-fi classic, all of this stuff. I would love to do a video on, like, if you like this genre, start with these classics, but it's been such a long time since I've read classics. Like, if you go back to some of my old videos, it started out as fantasy, then I went into a deep dive into classics and I read loads of them, and I did videos on where to start with classics and gothic classics and short classics and all of this stuff, and I loved them. But then I just kind of got out of reading them, and I go through different phases of my reading, and I feel like potentially maybe getting back into it, maybe not to the extent that I did previously, like I think about 3 years ago. But anyway, side tangent just to say that I do like the writing, and yes, it does remind me of some classic authors, but I still think it's readable. I would guess by modern day standards it feels a little bit stiff at times, so just keep that in mind. But if you are after just a very cozy, heartwarming book where there are things happening, so there are intrigues and stuff, but it's really not about that. Like, it is a slow paced story. It is also got so much representation in here. I mean, we are following like E and Henry. They are comes across as like asexual. I think that was a really good conversation that they had. Also, their representations of anxiety and how they deal with that, and also like E's sister Sophie, she has a wife and it's absolutely lovely, and then Henry's brother Verin has a husband and they have children together, and just the wholesome representation. So yeah, this was lovely. It was really nice to read. I'm ending on a 3.75 though, because I do think it was a little bit slow. The way this book was done, I did like. You have the first part of the book where you're following E and Henry and letters that they're writing to one another and writing in journals and things, so you get to see what's going on with them. And then the second part, you have Sophie and Verin and a couple of other people that you've met in the first book that are all together, and again that plotline, which I can't go into details because of spoilers and stuff, but interspaced with those, what's actually happening and how we're getting these letters is two different characters that are swapping the letters, and they're two characters that you do meet in this book, but they're like side characters, but it's them that's exchanging the correspondences this time round, and I really like it. And I actually think those were my favourite parts, because there was just like this great banter between the two characters and it just worked really well. So I'm really happy with that. I think I would have loved to have had more correspondence between those two characters, but I think overall this book did end quite well. It wrapped up things quite nicely, and yeah, it's just a nice book. I don't think it's like a new favourite, it's not going to stay with me or anything, but it is one that I'm very happy I've read. I'm happy to have on my shelves, especially for those times when I just need something that is easy and heartwarming and it's not got too much to it and I can just relax into it. That's a really good book for it. I do think, because obviously I made correlations to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and stuff, I do think Emily Wilde, like, there's more going on. I prefer Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, but I still think this is a really good one for anyone looking for that sort of itch but wants something that's a little bit more slower paced. I feel like this works very well for it. It's very magical, very lovely. But yeah, so like a low 4 stars, 3.75. I'm very happy with it. And this book has done so much work, because this has worked for 3 different things that I've got going on. So first of all, we're in June. It is the Amazing Readathon, and this worked for prompt number 3 of the Amazing Readathon, which is to read a book with an over-the-top cover. I was able to, even though I'd started this before the prompt dropped, I was able to use it for the 3rd prompt, and I do think it has a very over-the-top cover. Like, there's lots of things going on. We've got the coral reef, we've got all the different fishes and things like this. Like, there is quite a bit going on, so that worked really well for that. But this doesn't stop there. It's also worked for Rainy's year-long reading challenge, which is the series takedown, all about continuing on and tackling those series that we're all in the middle of, and I'm using this for finishing a series. Finally, we got that done. It's taken me so long to finish a series. I mean, actually saying that, I could have used like a couple of other books for that prompt, but I was using them to fulfill other squares on the bingo board. But we did it, okay? We finished out another series. I'm so happy with that. And this has also worked for our fantasy. It's our first fantasy book that has worked for our fantasy, and this is working for epistolary format, because as I mentioned, everything in this book is done in epistolary format, letters, journal entries, etc. So yeah, that has worked, and it's worked for hard mode. So this has done some work, but I am really happy with it. I'm really pleased that I read it. I'm pleased that it lived up to the expectations that I had for this. Like, I knew that this was not going to be a high action book or anything like that. Like, this has done exactly what I thought it would do, and it's done it well. So I really cannot complain. I've enjoyed it, but it is time to go over the books that I've read for this and the rankings. So in last place, we are having Make Me Famous by Maud Ventura. It is a shame. I ended up giving this one a 2.75. It just wasn't really for me. I do think some people are really going to like this one. I just prefer My Husband, and you know, it's just the way it is for that one, unfortunately. Second place, I'm putting Overgrowth by Mira Grant. This one was also slightly disappointing because I really wanted more from it. I love the prologue and epilogue, like the very first, very last chapter, like fantastic. And if we had had that sort of writing like throughout the rest of it, it would have been great. I really enjoyed the first part of this book. It's just, there is a moment in this book which lasts for a while where we're just repeating the same things over and over again, and I'm like, I do get it, but also I want more. I want to move on from the plot, and I want the ending of the book, the bit where we've got all the aliens and everything like that happening, to be longer, kind of condensed, like got rid of all of the repetition, made that longer. Like, there are things that I want to change about this book. So it's a bit disappointing. I still kind of can't decide. Like, I ended up giving it a 3.5, but I also feel like maybe it should be more of a 3 because I do want to change quite a few things about it, but at the same time I'm like, I like Mira Grant, and I don't know, I think we'll just stick to the 3.5 I gave it, but it's a low 3.5. If I'm being very specific, maybe a 3.25 maybe. I feel like that's probably more comfortable in how I'm feeling, which then leaves us with Letter to the Luminous Shore. No, A Letter from the Luminous Shore. No, oh my god, I'm getting the titles mixed up. A Letter from the Lonesome Shore in first place at a 3.75. And it's one of those things where I'm like, it's a shame I didn't get anything higher than that, but also it happens, you know, it's fine. I mean, these are all books that I was very much looking forward to reading. It just doesn't always work out, and you know, that's just the way it is sometimes. But you'll have to let me know, have you read any of these? Are there books that have come out that are new that you've been really interested in, that you want to read? I mean, there was another one that came out in May. Now I've finished this video, I wish I had swapped out one of the books for the other book, The Butcher's Daughter, and it's a tale of Mrs. Lovett, who was baking people into pies. So you've got the demon barber on Fleet Street, how he was killing people, and then how Mrs. Lovett was making them into pies and selling human pies. I really want that book. Like, desperately want that book. I think it's going to be amazing, and I do kind of wish I'd read that instead of maybe like Make Me Famous. And I was contemplating swapping it out, and then I decided to stick with it and go with an author that I know I really like and stuff, and I do kind of wish I'd swapped it out, but that is definitely a book I do want to get my hands on, and I think it's going to be a really good read. Please let me know if you've read that one and what you thought of it. That does bring us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, for coming along with me, for all the various different things that we got up to in this video. This one's lasted a while. I'm gonna go. I've got lots of things I need to do. Thank you so freaking much for watching. If you've made it this far but just have no idea what to comment, then leave a little fish emoji in the comments below. Again, a massive thank you to all of you that take the time to watch my videos. I really appreciate it, whether you silently watch or whether you comment and things. Like, I really truly appreciate each and every single one of you. I just want to take a minute to say an extra special thank you to my Patreons on all your support over there. Like, I've really enjoyed it, and thankfully things are going to be slowing down a little bit, and I'm going to have a lot more time to be able to be doing more on Patreon, and I've been so excited because I've had so many ideas of things that I want to do. So thank you so much for all of your support over there. If you're ever interested in checking it out, feel free to do so. The link is in the description below, but no pressure. But alright, I am going to go. So if you've enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those three things really help this channel out. My social media links, anyone I've mentioned, Patreon, Discord, everything is linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.